Hey everyone, Rob Stanley here with 15 Minutes of Growth. And today I've got Ryan Cramer from PingPongPayments. Hey Ryan.
What's up everyone?
So today we're going to talk about how to maximize, and hopefully I get this right, incoming and outgoing payments. And probably specifically you're talking about Amazon incoming and outgoing payments and how you can basically benefit from using PingPong to cut down on the fees, which is making money. I mean, that's the way I see it, right, Ryan?
Exactly. So like any fintech out there, like any of our competitors, specifically PingPong we'll talk about today, but fintech companies like us exist to save people money on international transactions. Typically, and we can walk through old school business, how it used to work, but then banks don't want to deal with like smaller transactions and conversion fees. So that's where companies like PingPong or Payoneer or TransferWise exist so that we can help people save money.
Yeah. And just real quick, big shout out to Ryan for doing his 50th podcast just recently. That was awesome.
That's right. 51 tonight.
Yeah, 51 tonight. So we got some great information. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. And I'll let Ryan jump right in. Go ahead, Ryan.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, if you don't know who PingPongPayments is, we're a payment service provider who is going to help you save in international payments, either outbound or inbound. So I wanted to provide 3 hidden ways to save time and money on Amazon for you who are listening today with services like us. So basically, the vast majority of e-commerce sellers have money coming and going in tons of different places. And whether you're receiving funds from Amazon or selling in different marketplaces overseas, or whether you need to pay your supplier, for example, in China or in India, anywhere that there's money that's going to a different country, there are solutions like us that exist out there. And specifically, I'm going to talk about PingPong and how we help people save money. This area is often, believe it or not, neglected because the various marketplaces and financial institutions are able to make a lot of money off these fees. And when I mean financial institutions like a PayPal or a bank that people are used to because they were first to market and they can charge almost literally any kind of fee they want to because they were the only solution. But there's obviously better ways to do that now moving forward. But this isn't always so obvious, like what ways you can save money. Amazon has their baked in fees. They have their storage fees, so on and so forth, their referral fees. But there are ways that you can actually have impact on your own sort of fees and save money with there. So it's super important that what we're going to talk about today. When we talk with sellers, most often than not, they have no problems with they think they have no problems with international payments, paying their suppliers. They think, hey, I'm getting good rates. But when they look at the data and we kind of like unveil this like hidden meaning of what's going on, they're like, holy, for lack of a better word, holy shit. Like, look at all these ways that we can save money. I didn't realize that can happen. And this is good for people who are taking that next step and trying to elevate their brand, either growing internationally or just finding ways to save money as a beginner, because in a business where margins are relatively thin and fees are being taken out of everywhere, like I said, any sort of savings, like what I'm going to talk about today, it can make a real difference in you surviving on Amazon. So basically, tip number 1 that I'm going to be talking about is saving time. Now, how business used to be done is if you wanted to send or receive money in a different currency, it was a time suck. You would have to fly to that country. You would have to establish a entity in that country. For example, if I wanted to receive funds in Europe, I would have to go to Europe and I would have to open a bank account in person. Same thing with China. I would have to go there, show them my business credentials to make sure I can actually send or receive to that bank in that country. It's a real time suck, and you have to have legal entities on your behalf that can make those transactions happen. Now that's not the case anymore with solutions like PingPong. Months of work obviously can now be done in minutes from the comfort of your own home. So how business used to be done on the slide, I think I'm sharing with me right now, a consumer, they would have to, when they're paying out in different marketplaces, for example, if I live in Europe, I'm going to pay Amazon in euro, or if I'm in England, I'm going to pay in the British pound, so on and so forth. So they would pay your listing or pay your product for your product in that local currency. And then Amazon would send that money to you, to your bank account, and convert it for you. Now that conversion fee is like with all those different steps I kind of outlined right there. They pay your bank account and they would meet its end goal, your bank account, where you can spend it however you want, use it to pay for your house, a new house, a car, invest in your products however you want. But what's wrong with this picture that I'm showing with you is traditionally 4 to 5% of those fees are going to occur every step along the way. Now that's with exchange rates within the banks. There's wire fees if there's any sort of wiring that's happening depending on your bank. And then also there's just there's fees that hit every single portal that goes through all the way to your bank account. You just don't know that. So basically the proceeds are within a bank are converted at a fixed rate. So the market, whatever the currency is at that given point, they're going to a bank is going to set a set rate and have that convert over. No matter what it is, it's not going to fluctuate with the market. It can be stronger. It can't be weaker. It's going to be at this set high fixed rate and then added their own fees on top of it. And most often than not, you can only receive USD. If you're a US seller or an international bank entity, you're going to be receiving that local currency. You can't receive in multiple different currencies. It's just not possible. So moving forward, yeah, go ahead.
So we had a quick question come in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ben was asking, does this work as a Canadian wanting to be paid by Amazon.com US and then send money to a Canadian bank, I think is what they're asking.
Yep, we're gonna hit that right now with tip number 1. That's a great question, Ben. So what this kind of a solution, with PingPong, for example, the solution is going to be if you're selling in a different marketplace where you're currently at. For Ben's example, a consumer is going to be in the United States. They're going to pay out in USD, and if I'm understanding correctly, Ben lives in Canada, so so Amazon's going to pay out in USD. Ben wants to use that money in at a store or restaurant or wherever that's accepting of Canadian dollar, and he wants to use his Amazon proceeds. So solutions like PingPong, for example, you can actually set up to 10 different receiving accounts through our solution within 5 minutes, essentially, just offering any sort of you just have to provide your bank account, or excuse me, your business information. It's going through a process called KYC, or Know Your Customer, verifies who you say you are. So what you do is once you go through all that process, we go through all these regulations to make sure you're a legitimate entity. You can start receiving in all those different currencies that I've listed below, one of them being Canadian dollar. So when Amazon pays you out in USD, you can actually they'll pay you in USD, but what our solution does is that you can convert it at a very low rate. Instead of using a bank, you can actually convert it at maximum 1%. That's what we charge for that fee to a Canadian dollar. So we are kind of this digital bank account that instead of paying out your local bank account, you would pay into a PingPong account, and that's where you would be able to do the savings, whether it's receiving international funds in different currencies, or if you want to pay out in different currencies as well. So this is tip number 1. You're going to be able to open these receiving accounts and save you a ton of time. That's withdrawing money in your local currency. That's real-time FX that we actually use. So their value of dollar is going to fluctuate a little bit here and there. You're going to see that real-time, that mid-market rate that we're using in terms of conversions. You can also, through our solution, we've been able to offer virtual credit cards and also pay out suppliers, but we're going to talk about paying out next. And there's no need to set up multiple entities and bank accounts. You can house it all in with one platform. So that saves you time, a headache, effort, whatever you want to call it. And again, you can get approved starting the same day. So that's yeah, go ahead.
Here we go. Another question coming in. I was waiting for this.
Man, they're coming hot and heavy. Let's go.
Right. Great question, Scott, because this is cutting edge. Just happened recently. What about the whole thing going on with the PSP list, and is PingPong on that list?
Good question. So I personally, I can't talk about it too much because we're part of it.
I'll say it. Yes, PingPong's on that list. You can definitely go check with Amazon. Look at the announcement. PingPong is one of the people that are on the PSP list, approved by Amazon. So there, Ryan doesn't have to get in trouble. But while we're at it, just so you guys know, PingPong and AccrueMe make a great team, and we've actually teamed up, and we're putting on this great seller summit for all the Amazon sellers. So be sure to jump on over, check out AccrueMeSummit.com for a free Amazon seller summit we have coming up on February 11th. Ryan will be on there, and so will I. So go ahead, Ryan.
There you go. So yeah, sorry guys, I would say more, but as part of what Amazon tells us we're allowed and allowed not to say. Yeah, that's where we come in. So that's a great question. Thanks for clearing that up, Rob. It's a fun dance you get to play as a partner with our alleged partner with them. But anyways, that's tip number one. Tip number two, and making sure we stay on time. Save when you receive funds internationally. So this is going like how this works. When you're an international entity and you're starting to scale your business, what a lot of people like to do is they like to see Amazon's great, but maybe I want to take my brand a step further. I want to start diversifying myself on multiple marketplaces. Like I want to go to South America or Central America and sell on Mercado Libre. I want to sell my products on Wayfair. I want to sell on Wish. I want to build my own branded site on Shopify. In France and Shopee, all these different locations in this marketplace portal is a headache because there's not solutions that talk to all of them that are common, and we do. So what we do is if you're selling on all those different marketplaces and more, and you're receiving and you're selling in multiple different countries and more, we can help you have all-in-one housing solution so you can see where you're getting funds from Amazon in in all of its different entities. I think 18 or I think it's 18 now. They just announced Poland is 18 different countries we're working on. I think we're 1 or 2 away from doing all of them, being able to receive in all of them. But then what we do is really cool is that when you open an account with us, your money is safe and secure and backed by tier 1 banks. And what I mean by that, look at that list, guys. That's Citibank, JP Morgan, Bank of America, HSBC, SVB, Standard Chartered, all those banks that you've heard of when you talk about top banks in the world. Those are ones that we directly partner with. So your money is actually secured by those. You have an account with these entities so that you understand that it's not just floating out there in the cloud. It's not going to just be on some fictitious, cloud-based solution. It's actually backed by these kinds of solutions that we directly talk to. That's why your money is able to be safe and secured, no matter where you're receiving funds from. And then you can actually take that and withdraw it, obviously, to your local bank account if you want to. Again, those are all the different benefits that you can. If you're selling in Europe, you can also use us to pay your VAT and GST if you're in Europe or Canada. So that being said, I only have a couple more minutes to kind of talk high level. But if you're going to build your brand internationally and you're taking that step forward, or if you're an international seller and want to get that money a cost-effective way, you can get that as by using PingPong and get it back to your home without leaving money on the table and getting screwed with those unnecessary funds. Last tip I'm going to give you guys today, you can send by outbound payments. What I mean by that, as Amazon sellers, we have a constant coming and going of funds, right? You have money that's paying out Amazon, you have money that's going to suppliers, manufacturers, advertising solutions like Helium 10 or Viral Launch, or if any of those kinds of companies that you have are using tools, that money is going to those subscriptions. If you're using a freight forwarder or if you're using a 3PL, you have money just coming and going, but you also have funds inbound. What my last tip I'm going to leave with you guys today is how you can save by paying those outbound payments. Now, a lot of people use them by doing direct wires with your bank. Again, we're going to go back to the time saving technique of if you're doing an international wire, you have to go down to your bank. You have to make that in-person wire to them most often than not. And that's a very scary thing if you're sending tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for your goods to a supplier that's in a different country. You don't know if that money is going to make it there. What if you had a number that was written down incorrectly? What if you have all these different things? It's a very heart-inducing moment as a seller. What we do is we actually talk to those. We have a lot of partnerships with manufacturers overseas, but what we do is we allow you to save money when you send overseas. Now, you might think that you guys are saving a bunch of money, but more often than not, for example, the biggest one where you can save money is your suppliers. Your suppliers are more often than not going to give you two options. You can pay in local currency, and if your supplier's in China, you're probably not going to have RMB or CNY just laying around your office. You're probably going to get with option number 2 and pay them in USD. Now, that's not a bad thing if you have a lot of currency, USD, and you want to pay them for lack of without any complications. That's great. But what suppliers are going to do is they're going to bake in a conversion fee for you into your invoice and not tell you about it. Think about it like a retail store. They're going to pass on that credit card processing fee to you as a consumer, or they're going to eat it. They're in business for themselves, guys. The suppliers in them for yourselves. As much as you want to think that they are there to like be your best friend, they're going to try to save as much money as possible by passing on those fees to you, because they can't use USD to pay out their factory workers in their country. So they're going to pass on a 4 to 5% uptick for conversion fees to you as a seller. So what you don't know is that you're paying for that conversion fee to happen anyways. What you can do by saving with us is you can pay out in over 160 different currencies to negotiate with a supplier, for example, or your VAs, and say, what if I paid you instead of in USD? What if I paid you in RMB or CNY? Or if you have a supplier in India, INR. And then they're going to say, what would my invoice be? How much would that cost me? And then they would give you another invoice. You would compare the exchange rate on Google. It's free to do that same day, and see how much money you're going to be saving just by paying them out in their local currency. And again, PingPong is only charging a maximum of 1% just to convert money from, example, USD over to INR. Like that, I say that's our fee, but there's a mid-market rate. But when it goes outbound, that is our fee that we're charging. That's how we make money, but that can go down too. Banks are going to charge you 4 to 5% to convert that over to a local currency. There's a whole bunch of other different setbacks in limits that they're going to allow you to do, not allow you to do. But with us, you can actually pay out in local currency. And again, saving time and money by doing that can put points to your bottom line and save there. So again, you can negotiate better rates with your VAs, freelancers, suppliers, so on and so forth. But that's kind of the day. I only have 15 minutes to kind of go high level on all this. But if you have questions, you can email me directly. My email is Ryan.Cramer, and that's Cramer, not like Cosmo Kramer on Seinfeld, but it's Ryan.Cramer at pingpongx.us. I do this all the time. I set up demos with people and walk them through how easy it is to save money. Obviously, if it's not us, or if you're working with another service provider like us, there's also that great negotiation power of, hey, you think you're saving money with them? Check out other competitors too, because everyone wants to earn time in business, or your time in business. Ask about rates. What fees are they charging you? If you don't know, ask them, and then you can go around and shop around just like any great consumer, making sure you're getting the best rates possible. Because at the end of the day, we're handling those transactions. We did about $20 to $25 billion in currency transactions going outbound and inbound last year alone. 2020 was a crazy, crazy year, but it'll only continue to grow as e-commerce sellers grow. So that's why it's important to work with a third-party service provider to make sure that you're saving as much time and money as possible.
Yeah, that's perfect. And get a hold of Ryan if you have any questions. We appreciate everybody jumping into the 15 Minutes of Growth podcast. And Ryan, always awesome to have you on, man. Great information. Be sure to go check out PingPongPayments. I look on the screen. I had the URL up, or you could just do a Google search for PingPongPayments. It'll come right up. So be sure to take a look. Any last tips there? Anything, Ryan? You good?
Nope. If you guys haven't signed up, go ahead and sign up for the AccrueMe Summit, or Seller Growth Summit. I think that's what we called it now, Rob. What did we come up with? Is that the title now? It's official. But yeah, if you sign up, you'll see. Yeah. If you like what I have to say, I'll be there talking. Again, it's a free event, so make sure you sign up. It's worth your time and money, effort, knowledge base. If you're just looking for ways to grow and hear me talk a little bit more, if you thought 15 minutes was way too short to hear me speak, I'm talking almost every single day. I know Rob thinks I'm crazy, but I'm talking with sellers all the time. So sellers and leaders in the space. So feel free to check out Crossover Commerce on the PingPongPayments YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Yeah. And take a look at AccrueMe.com if you're looking for Amazon seller funding. And Rob Stanley with AccrueMe, Chief Marketing Officer. Every Tuesday and every Thursday, I'm live bringing you good content and information. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, guys.